Good morning, and today's a great day in the neighborhood, and it's that time of year, at least down here in Florida, to get outside. And what do you want to do when you get outside? Put up some antennas. Yeah, love to experiment with antennas. You never know what you're going to get. Somebody can tell you, well, this antenna is not going to work, or that antenna is not going to work, or you got to spend at least $300 to get a good antenna. That's not true. You just never know when it comes to antennas. And I was searching on the internet this morning to see if I can find some information for you to kind of get you started with some basic antennas. And I found this article on the Ontario DX Association website, and the title of the article is Easy Antennas for Shortwave Listening by Mark, and he's done a pretty good job of putting a bunch of information together to just kind of give you a general overview of what kind of antennas you yourself can make and put up and experiment. That's what it's all about, experimenting. So I'm just going to go through this quickly. I'll put the link to the website in this article in the description below this show. Okay, here we go. So here's the kinds of antennas he's going to discuss. He's going to discuss a bunch of wire antennas, very simple wire antennas, some loaded antennas. The reason for loading antenna is to make it shorter in case you don't have enough room. And then he gives you some helpful advice. So I'm going to go over a few things, not the whole article, touch on things. So section 1 is wire antennas. And the first one he shows you is the basic random wire, or some people call it a long wire. Just a piece of wire stretched out in your backyard with a connection brought in through coax to your radio. Then this is the next one, which is the beverage antenna. Another idea for a simple antenna. Now he does mention that this particular antenna is typically really long. I mean really long. So keep that in mind. Here's a Wyndham antenna. He says it's basically a random wire antenna, but the lead-in is with the lead-in mounted away from the end closest to the receiver. So you don't hook your lead-in right at the very end. Here's a half-wave dipole. Starting to look familiar. It's got two legs here. Comes down, connected with a 4-to-1 balun. And then here's my G5RV antenna, which is basically a dipole with this ladder line and then a 1-to-1 balun that goes to your receiver. And then here's some perimeter loops. Again, this takes up quite a bit of room, but it's basically a loop antenna that you put up in your backyard. Here's a tilted terminated folding dipole. That's a mouthful. And he talks a little bit about each one of these and how they work, the length of them, how you determine the length. Then he goes into section 2. He goes into loaded antennas, which I said is basically tricking the receiver of thinking that the antenna is longer than it is by putting in loading coils. And he tells you how to do that. I actually have one of these. It's in my backyard, and it's got loading coil on each leg, and I think the length is about 25 feet on each leg, with the loading coil excuse me, in the middle of each leg. Kind of a compromise, but if you're short on space, it will help you get up an antenna. This is kind of the way mine looks. You got the 2 legs, and then you got 2 loading coils. That's how mine looks. Works pretty good. There's another one, and then it gives you some helpful advice. I did it again. Oh boy. Talks about balams, making balams, loading coils, some tools you'll need when you're doing this. This is not exactly like the MFJ analyzer that I reviewed, but it's pretty close to it. Actually, this particular one is an MFJ. It's just not the model number that I reviewed. And so that's basically the article. Again, this can be found on the Ontario Association, Ontario DX Association website. Matter of fact, here is the link right here. www.odxa.on.ca. That's it. And there's a bunch of articles on here. This is just one of the many. And they're pretty good articles. So I would take a look at them. So get outside and put up some antennas. And tell us what you did and what the results are. Take some pictures. So if you got some stuff you want to send me an email to TRRS73@gmail.com. If I didn't do that right or you didn't understand me, it's down in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.